The door flew open like a gunshot in the dead of night, splintering the fragile illusion of solitude I'd built in our cramped Brooklyn walk-up. There I was, sprawled on the futon, heart pounding as my hand froze mid-stroke, the glow of my laptop screen betraying every forbidden fantasy I'd whispered to myself in the dark. Ryan stood there, keys dangling from his fist, his blue eyes widening not in disgust, but in a raw, mirrored hunger that cracked the world open between us. I scrambled for the blanket, cheeks burning hotter than the July humidity seeping through the fire escape, but it was too late. The air thickened with the unspoken, the laptop's paused video flickering like a guilty confession. "Alex," he rasped, voice cracking like thunder over the East River. "It's not just you. God, it's me too." And in that heartbeat, the secret he'd buried deeper than his preacher daddy's Bible verses clawed its way out, dragging us both into a storm neither of us saw coming. New York City in summer was a beast, humid, relentless, chewing up dreamers like me and spitting out husks. I'd come here 3 years ago from some nowhere town in Ohio, chasing the ghost of a life that felt real, one where I didn't have to hide the ache in my chest every time a guy with sharp jawlines and easy smiles walked by. College dropout, barista by day, aspiring graphic designer by the endless nights hunched over my MacBook. Rent was a killer, so when Ryan Hayes answered my Craigslist ad for a roommate, felt like fate's cruel joke. He was the all-American poster boy, broad shoulders from high school football, that tousled blonde hair that screamed, trust fund kid slumming it, and eyes like the Hudson on a stormy day, deep, unreadable blue. We clicked fast, or so I thought. Beers on the stoop after brutal shifts, late-night rants about the soul-sucking grind of the city, shared playlists heavy on Springsteen, and that one time he belted out Thunder Road off-key after too many IPAs. He was straight edge on paper, grew up in a Bible Belt suburb outside Atlanta, daddy a firebrand pastor railing against the gays from his megachurch pulpit. Ryan had fled that holy hellhole for Columbia's film program, but the scars lingered in the way he dodged questions about family holidays or why his phone went silent around Christmas. Old wounds, he'd mutter, cracking a smile that didn't reach his eyes. That night, though the night everything shattered, I'd pushed the boundaries further than ever. Work had been a nightmare. My boss at the coffee shop, this sleazy manager named Todd, cornered me in the stockroom again, his hand lingering too long on my shoulder as he jokingly suggested I needed to loosen up after hours. I bolted home early, adrenaline spiking into something darker. In the dim glow of our living room, his room was a closet off the kitchen, mine the slightly larger disaster zone. I cracked open my laptop, the one hiding folder labeled Inspo that was anything but professional sketches. Porn. Gay porn. The kind that hit like a freight train, raw, unfiltered guys tangled in sweat and desperation. No pretty boy filters. I'd always been careful. Door locked, volume muted, heart hammering like it was a federal crime. But tonight, exhaustion blurred the lines. The video started innocently enough, a slow build, two dudes in a loft that could have been ours, trading glances that said, "I see you." My hand moved on autopilot, breaths coming in sharp, guilty gasps. The climax hit like a wave, and I was lost in it. I squeezed shut, whispering a name that wasn't anyone's, Jacob. The door. Ryan. His shadow eclipsed the hall light, and time fractured. I yanked the blanket up, slamming the laptop shut, but the damage was done. The room reeked of shame and spilled secrets, the fan whirring lazy circles overhead like it was mocking us both. He didn't bolt. Didn't hurl slurs like I'd braced for, the ghost of small-town taunts echoing in my skull. Instead, he stepped inside, closing the door with a soft click that echoed louder than a slam. His face, God, his face was a war zone, shock warring with something softer, vulnerable, like he'd been gut-punched and was still standing. "Alex," he said again, voice barely above the traffic hum outside our second-floor window. He sank onto the arm of the futon, elbows on knees, staring at the floor like it held the map to forgiveness. "Shit. I didn't mean to. Forget it." I cut in, voice shrill, wrapping the blanket tighter like armor. My skin crawled, every nerve screaming exposed. "Just pretend you saw nothing. Bar night, beers, whatever." He looked up then, and those blue eyes pinned me, stripping away the bullshit. "I can't. Because I've been there. Hiding it. Every damn day." The words hung heavy, laced with a southern drawl he'd mostly scrubbed but couldn't kill. He ran a hand through his hair, knuckles white. "Back home, it was hell. Daddy's sermons, Sodom and Gomorrah in the streets, he'd thunder, and I'd sit in the front pew, praying the lightning wouldn't strike me for the dreams I'd have about the quarterback after practice." My breath caught. Ryan, the guy who'd hooked up with that sorority girl at a frat party last semester, bragging about it over takeout lo mein like it was a conquest? Lies. All of it, a shield forged in fire and fear. He kept going, words tumbling like they'd been damned too long. "I came here to escape, but it's in my bones. The guilt. The want. And tonight, seeing you, it was like looking in a mirror. I froze because I wanted to watch. To join." His laugh was bitter, shattered glass. "Pathetic, right? The straight roommate who's been jerking off to the same shit, terrified his own reflection will out him. I don't know who moved first. Maybe it was me, reaching out a tentative hand, or him leaning in, the space between us collapsing like a bad edit in one of his student films. Our knees brushed, electric, and suddenly his hand was on my arm, warm, calloused from hauling camera gear across campus. "Tell me about him," he murmured, thumb tracing a lazy circle on my skin. "The name you said." "Jacob." My throat tightened. Jacob. The ghost who'd haunted me since freshman year, back when we'd been something undefined in the dorms. Stolen kisses in the stairwell, his laugh like sunlight on snow. Until he ghosted, chasing some internship in LA that turned into a boyfriend, a life without me. "Old flame," I whispered. "Burned out." Ryan nodded, like he got it, the universal ache of queer boys building castles on sand. "Mine too," he admitted, voice dropping to a hush. "Jacob. Funny coincidence. Mine was from high school wrestling team captain, all charm and cruelty. We fooled around in the locker room showers after state finals. Thought it was just bro stuff until it wasn't. He swore me to silence, then outed me to the team as a joke when the rumors swirled. Beat the shit out of me to prove he wasn't like that. Daddy found out, shipped me to conversion camp that summer. Prayed the gay away, they said. The name hit like a sucker punch. Jacob. Same one? No. Couldn't be, world too big. Odds too slim. But the way Ryan's jaw clenched, eyes distant, carved a chasm. Betrayals echo, from different coasts but the same poison vein. We talked till dawn cracked the skyline, words weaving a fragile bridge. He confessed the sorority girl was a beard, a desperate ploy to quiet the whispers at family reunions. I spilled about Jacob's vanishing act, how it left me hollow, scrolling his Insta like a masochist. By the time the bodega below us started clanging gates open, the blanket was shared, our shoulders touching, breaths sinking in the humid air. It wasn't sex, not yet. It was something rawer. Two guys cracking open their rib cages, handing over the bruised hearts inside. Ryan's hand found mine under the covers, fingers lacing like they'd always known the fit. "What now?" I asked, voice small against the city's awakening roar. He turned, lips brushing my temple, soft as a promise. "We stop hiding. Together." Little did I know, that promise was built on quicksand. Jacob, our Jacob, wasn't done with us yet. And when he resurfaced, claws out, the storm we'd barely weathered would rage into a hurricane, tearing everything apart. The next week blurred into a fever dream, the kind where reality bends and you wake up gasping, half convinced it was all a lie. Ryan and I didn't label it God. No, we were too American for that, too scarred by rom-com tropes and grinder horror stories to slap a bow on the mess. But the shift was seismic. Mornings started with coffee brewed strong and black, his hip bumping mine at the counter as he stole sips from my mug, smirking like he'd won some unspoken bet. "Tastes better stolen," he'd say, voice low, eyes daring me to push back. I pushed. Oh, how I pushed. That first real kiss came on a Thursday, rain lashing the windows like it was auditioning for our soundtrack. We'd holed up after my shift, binging old Hitchcock on his ancient projector, the black and white shadows dancing across his face. Halfway through Rope, his hand slid onto my thigh, casual as you please, but the heat seared through denim. I turned, caught the question in his gaze, the same one I'd seen that night, and answered it by closing the gap. His mouth was fire and salt, tasting of kettle chips and unspoken years. We moved slow at first, exploratory, like cartographers mapping unclaimed land. Hands roamed tentative, tracing collarbones, the dip of hips, the scars he hid under faded tees. One puckered line from that locker room betrayal, another from a prayer session gone wrong at camp. "They called it deliverance," he murmured against my neck, breath hitching as my fingers ghosted the marks. Felt like damnation. I pulled back, searching his face. "You're out of that now. With me." His laugh was soft, fractured. "Am I?" Daddy's still preaching fire and brimstone on YouTube. Got 500K subscribers last I checked. Calls me weekly, checking in, code for repent. Son, the weight of it settled, heavy as the thunder rumbling over Queens. But we pushed it aside, diving deeper into the now. Nights tangled in sheets that smelled of him, Irish spring and ambition, bodies learning rhythms we'd only fantasized about. He was gentle, almost reverent, whispering my name like a prayer he'd invented just for us. "Alex," he'd groan, hands framing my face as we moved together. "You're the plot twist I didn't see coming." And the days? Electric. We wandered the village hand-in-brush, stealing glances at couples bolder than us, their pride flags fluttering like taunts. Ryan dragged me to indie film screenings at IFC, his critiques turning into foreplay in the back row. Fingers interlaced, thumbs stroking promises. I showed him my sketches, the ones with men mid-embrace, bodies arched like bridges over chasms. "This is you," I said once, handing him a drawing of two figures silhouetted against the Brooklyn Bridge. Us. Defiant. He traced the lines with a fingertip, eyes misty. Defiant. I like that. Haven't felt it since. Well, since Jacob. There it was again, the name like a splinter under skin. We'd skirted it since that confessional dawn, but it festered. My Jacob, the one who'd vanished into LA's glitter, posted sporadically. Beach selfies with faceless arms around his waist, captions dripping privilege. Ryan's? A ghost from Georgia Clay, now some tech bro in Silicon Valley, married to a woman with a megawatt smile and zero questions about his college experiments. Coincidence? I told myself. But doubt gnawed, especially when Ryan's phone buzzed late one night, screen lighting his face in the dark. He silenced it quick, but not before I glimpsed the caller ID J. Harlan. Harlan, that was Jacob's last name. My pulse spiked, but I swallowed it down. Paranoia, city sickness. Family, I murmured, feigning sleep. Yeah, he lied, smooth as bourbon, rolling to pull me close. Just dad, being dad, lies. The first crack in our foundation, hairline but deep. I let it slide, too drunk on the high of us to question. We were building something real, humanistic in its mess. Two guys from fractured homes, stitching quilts from regret and hope. He opened up about the camp. Group prayers till knees bruised. Therapists pushing electric aversion. The boy in the bunk next to him who'd slit his wrists one dawn. I held him, Ryan whispered, voice breaking. Promised we'd run away together. But I chickened out. Stayed silent. Tears pricked my eyes. Empathy a flood. You're not silent now. No, he agreed, kissing my knuckles. Not with you. We made plans, small ones, to ground us. A weekend upstate, hiking the Catskills, away from the city's judgmental glare. No phones, I insisted. Just us. Deal, he grinned, sealing it with a kiss that tasted like forever. But forever's a luxury for fools. 2 days before the trip, controversy crashed in like a tabloid headline. Ryan's phone blew up during dinner at our favorite hole-in-the-wall taqueria. Texts, voicemails, the works. He excused himself to the alley, but Brooklyn's thin walls betrayed him. Jacob, what the hell? You can't just call after 5 years. My fork froze midair. Our Jacob. The pieces slammed together. The shared name, the lies, the way Ryan's eyes darkened at mentions of betrayal. I slipped out, heart a war drum, catching the tail end through the fire door. Telling Alex? That's low. Even for you. We had a deal, bury it, move on. A pause. Then Jacob's voice, tinny through the speaker. Deal? You mean the one where you ghosted me after I came out for you? Now you're playing house with my ex? Karma's a bitch. Tell him the truth, or I will. About that night in the motel. The one that ended everything. Ryan's face crumpled, phone slipping from his grip. He saw me then, shadows swallowing us both. Alex, wait, I didn't. I bolted into the rain-slick streets, the city a blur of neon accusations. Betrayal, his, Jacob's, mine for believing in fairy tales. How deep did it run? What motel? What truth? Back home. He was waiting, soaked and shattered on the stoop. Let me explain, he begged, voice raw. Jacob. He's the bridge between us. The secret I never planned to share is not just that I'm gay. It's that I knew you before we met. Through him, the world tilted. Turns out, Jacob had played us both. High school Ryan's cruel lover, college Alex's vanishing flame. And the act Ryan caught? It wasn't random. He'd been watching my Insta for months, piecing together the puzzle, moving into. What? Atone? Sabotage? I came for closure, he admitted, tears mixing with rain. But I stayed for you, lies upon lies. The romance curdled, emotion twisting into rage. I slammed inside, door echoing our fracture. But as his knocks faded into the night, a whisper of doubt lingered. Was it all manipulation, or had the love been real amid the deceit? The Catskills trip never happened. Instead, we entered a cold war. Silent breakfasts where cereal spoons clinked like accusations. Evenings where I'd hole up in my room sketching feverishly. Caricatures of Ryan as a fallen angel. Wings clipped by his own hand. He tried. God, he tried. Notes slipped under my door. Coffee run? Truce. Playlists titled, Sorry Sucks. Even a half-burnt batch of his mama's peach cobbler left on the counter with a post-it. Sweet as second chances. I ate it in the dark. Sugar sticking in my throat like unsaid words. Jacob's shadow loomed largest. A specter stitched from our shared wounds. I blocked him on everything, but the damage was viral. Old texts unearthed in my purge revealed he'd been DMing Ryan for weeks before our fateful night. Hey Ree, saw your new roomie. Small world. Bet he'd love to know about us. Taunts wrapped in nostalgia. Poison ivy creeping back. Ryan cornered me one muggy evening. The apartment a sauna without AC. Talk to me, Alex. Please. He looked wrecked. Stubble shadowing that chiseled jaw. Eyes bloodshot from nights I heard him pacing, murmuring scripts to an empty room. His film thesis, a doc on repressed Southern masculinity, sat abandoned on the table, pages curling like dying leaves. I crossed my arms, leaning against the fridge. Start with the motel. What ended everything? He deflated, sinking to the linoleum. The story poured out, jagged and unfiltered, a confessional reel. 5 years back, post-conversion camp, Ryan had fled to a seedy motel off I-95, a pit stop between Atlanta and nowhere. Jacob, my Jacob, who'd transferred to UGA for business, had tracked him down, showing up with cheap whiskey and cheaper apologies. Said he regretted the outing, the beatdown. Wanted to make it right. They drank, talked trash about small-town hypocrisy, and it escalated hands, mouths, the desperate fuck of two boys reclaiming what fear had stolen. But it wasn't just sex, Ryan said, voice cracking. He whispered he loved me. That we'd run to New York, start over. I believed him. Woke up to an empty bed and his note. You're too broken. Find someone who can fix you. Turns out, he'd recorded it all audio. Blurry video insurance. He called it later, when I confronted him. Blackmail fodder to keep me quiet. Tell anyone about us, and it goes to your daddy. Rage boiled in my gut, hot and righteous. And me? You knew he was my ex when you answered the ad. He nodded, miserable. Stalked your profile after Jacob name-dropped you in a DM. Alex is in BK now, looking for a roomie. Fix your mess. Preacher's boy. Thought it was a sign karma's do-over. Move in. Earn trust. Expose the truth without blowing up your world. But then, that night, catching you, seeing myself in your eyes, it flipped the script. I fell, Alex. Hard. Fell. The word hung, romantic and ruinous. Part of me wanted to shove him out the door, change the locks, delete the chapter. But the humanist in me, the kid from Ohio who'd devoured Whitman and Baldwin, believing in redemption's messy grace, wavered. You should have told me day one. I know. He reached for my hand. I let him take it, pulse thundering. Fear's a hell of a editor. Cuts the best scenes. We kissed then, tentative, tasting of salt and second guesses. It rebuilt the bridge, plank by plank. Apologies layered with touches. Nights where we'd map each other's bodies like new territory, erasing Jacob's ghost with our own heat. You're mine now, I'd murmur against his throat, hips grinding slow. No more secrets. Swear. He'd gasp, arching into me, blue eyes locked on mine like I was his North Star. The idyll lasted a month, fragile as spun glass. We ventured out bolder, hands linked at Washington Square Park, stealing fries from each other's plates at Shake Shack, his head on my shoulder during moonlight reruns at the Angelica. He even called his dad on speaker, me silent witness as Ryan came out in halting drawl. I'm gay, sir. Happy. Done hiding. The line went dead, but Ryan's exhale was a victory, small but seismic. Then the controversy ignited. Jacob, ever the arsonist, went nuclear. An anonymous leak hit queer forums and Ryan's daddy's church subreddit. Grainy clips from that motel night, audio scrubbed of faces but voices unmistakable. Ryan's southern lilt begging, Jacob's laugh cruel as barbed wire. Hashtags exploded. Preacher's son scandal, queer betrayal. Ryan's phone became a war zone. Reporters sniffing for quotes. Old teammates demanding slurs. His thesis advisor pulling funding with a terse email. Too personal now. Daddy's response? A viral sermon. My boy was led astray by the devil's whispers. Pray for his soul, and for the predator who ensnared him. Predator. Jacob, painted saint, silent in the storm. Ryan shattered. Curled on the futon that first caught us, sobs racking his frame. I held him, whispering inanities. It's bullshit, baby, they'll see. But inside, fury churned. Jacob had weaponized our pain, turning love into spectacle. I fired off a blistering email to his last known contact. You destroy everyone you touch. Rot in your privilege. No reply. But the damage festered. Ryan withdrew, scripts gathering dust, smiles forced like bad acting. Am I worth this? He'd ask in the dark, fingers tracing my ribs. The circus, every ring, I'd lie, heart aching. The climax brewed slow, then erupted on a crisp October eve. Ryan's phone pinged during our ritual pizza night, dominoes on the coffee table, the office droning comfort. Sender J. Harlan. Video attachment. I snatched it before he could. He didn't stop me. It was us, me and Jacob, freshman year, tangled in my dorm bed, oblivious to the hidden phone propping his textbook. Audio clear, my moans, his whispers of forever. Timestamp, 2 weeks before he vanished. Caption: Your turn to burn, Alex. Tell Ree how I vanished, or this goes public too. Betrayal's double helix. Jacob hadn't just played Ryan. He'd filmed me, hoarded it like a trophy. The why? Twisted ego. Perhaps control freak offing loose ends. I hit play again. Bile rising. Ryan watched, face ashen, then stood abruptly. I'm done. Calling him, don't. But he was already dialing, speaker on, pacing like a caged wolf. Jacob answered on the third ring, voice silk over steel. Boys. To what do I owe? You sick fuck, Ryan snarled. The leak? This? He waved the phone like evidence. Laughter, light and lethal. Collateral. You two deserved each other, pity fucks chasing ghosts. But Ree, you should have stayed buried. And Alex, you were always too needy. That's why I left. My blood iced. Needy? You promised. Promises are for suckers. Click. Silence deafened. Ryan hurled the phone. It shattered against the wall, shards glittering like broken trust. He turned to me, eyes wild. We end this. Together. But how? The storm was here, winds howling our names. Little did we know, the real hurricane was Jacob's final play, one that would force us to choose. Burn it all down, or rise from the ashes hand in hand. November's chill seeped into our bones, mirroring the frost between us. That video call with Jacob had cracked something irreparable, not just trust, but the illusion of control. Ryan threw himself into his film, salvaging the thesis by weaving our scandal into it. Raw interviews with ex-camp survivors, grainy reenactments of motel betrayals, a voiceover in his drawl narrating redemption's ragged edge. It's not just my story, he told me one night, editing till 3 a.m., glow of the screen carving hollows under his eyes. It's ours. Human. Flawed. I nodded, forcing enthusiasm, but envy gnawed. My sketches piled untouched. The coffee shop grind a numb blur. Jacob's bomb lingered, that dorm video, a digital guillotine over my neck. I dreamed of it nightly, his face superimposed on Ryan's, laughter echoing as pixels devoured us. Woke sweating, Ryan's arms a lifeline I'd cling to till dawn. He's poison, I'd mutter. But we're the antidote. Were we? Doubt crept in sly, like fog off the Gowanus. Ryan's calls home dwindled, a final voicemail from Daddy, disowned. Pray alone, left him catatonic for days. I found him on the fire escape, chain-smoking camels he'd sworn off, staring at the skyline like it owed him answers. What if he's right? He rasped, ash falling like dirty snow. What if I am broken? I knelt beside him, cold metal biting knees. Broken things make the best art. Look at us, collage of cracks, still standing. He leaned into me, exhale warm against my neck. Love you, Alex. For seeing the glue. Love. The word slipped easy now, a balm on wounds. We reclaimed intimacy in fragments. Slow dances to Coltrane in the kitchen. His hands splayed on my back like anchors. Lazy Sundays tracing tattoos he'd ink if money allowed. A compass rose over his heart, pointing true north to me. Romance bloomed defiant, petals pushing through concrete, picnics in Prospect Park, where he'd feed me grapes and whisper plots for our someday rom-com. 2 roommates, One secret, infinite heartbreaks. But controversy doesn't fade, it mutates. The leak went mainstream. TMZ picked it up, dubbing Ryan the preacher's gay prodigal. Paparazzi staking out our stoop like vultures. Protests erupted outside Daddy's church. Rainbow flags clashing with crosses. Queer activists chanting Ryan's name like a rallying cry. He rode the wave ambivalent. Screenings of thesis clips at underground Q&As, where crowds wept and cheered, but backstage he'd puke from anxiety, clinging to me in green rooms. This visibility, its power, but it burns. Jacob, meanwhile, played puppet master from afar. Tips to gossip rags. Sources say the roommates are faking it for clout. Anonymous posts on Ryan's film forum. Preacher's boy cries wolf. Real predator? My boss at the shop cornered me. Heard about your situation. Customers asking. Keep it pro. Kid. I quit on the spot. Flipping tables in my mind. Storming out to thunderous silence. The breaking point hit mid-month. A Friday night raw with regret. Ryan had a festival panel uptown, MoMA, big leagues, and I tagged along. Arm candy in thrift store chic. The Q&A crackled. Questions on faith, queerness, betrayal. He shone, voice steady, painting Jacob not as villain but cautionary tale. He taught me love's double-edged cuts deep, but carves space for truth. Applause thundered. Backstage, champagne fizzed, admirers swarmed. Then, slicing through Jacob. In the flesh, Armani suit hugging his frame like a second skin, smile sharp as shattered glass. Alex. Coincidence? No such thing. Ryan stiffened, champagne flute cracking in his grip. What do you want? Jacob's eyes raked us, lingering on our linked hands. Closure. Like you stole from me. He pulled a USB from his pocket, dangling it like bait. The full collection. Here's Alex's dorm special, even some collaborative footage. From that weekend in the Poconos. Remember, you two thought the cabin was private. My stomach plummeted. Poconos, our getaway last spring, pre-Ryan, when Jacob lured me with lies of reconciliation. Lies, all of it. He'd filmed that too? Filth. Delete it, Ryan growled, stepping forward, chest to chest. The room hushed, eyes darting. Jacob smirked. Or, your daddy sees? Alex's fam in Ohio. Oh, wait, they're the Bible thumpers too, right? Small world. His gaze softened, mock tender. I loved you both, once. But you broke me first. With your camp cowardice. Alex with your clingy texts post-ghosting. This, justice, lies twisted into knives. Ryan lunged. I caught him, muscles straining. Not here, I hissed. Security swarmed, Jacob vanishing into the crowd like smoke. We fled downtown, cab ride a blur of accusations. He was bluffing, Ryan insisted, but doubt laced his words. Was he? I shot back, betrayal fresh. Or did you know? That coincidence? Did you invite him? His face crumpled. God, no. But I reached out once, after moving in, to warn him off you. He sent that Poconos clip as proof you'd moved on. I deleted it. Swore. Another lie unearthed. The cab screeched to our block. I bolted, pounding pavement till lungs burned. He caught me in the alley, pinning me to brick, gentle, desperate. I fucked up. Again. But I love you, Alex. Fight for this. Tears stung. How? He's everywhere. Together. He echoed our old vow, forehead to mine. We expose him. Full story, film, forums, all of it. The plan hatched in whispers. Ryan's thesis expanded into a feature, Shadows in the Closet, crowdfunded by the queer net. I contributed sketches, storyboards of our triads tangle, Jacob as the serpent, us as survivors. Leaks reversed, we dropped teasers, anonymous at first, building buzz. Controversy flipped, activists rallied, Jacob the Joker trended, his silicon job offers drying up. But betrayal's sting lingered. One night, post-screening triumph, Ryan confessed the deepest cut. I moved in planning to seduce you. Jacob's idea, win him back through you, then ditch you both, but I couldn't. Fell real, heart fractured anew. So what am I? Trophy? Revenge? No, he cupped my face, ice fierce. Everything. We made love then, urgent and unforgiving, bodies slamming truths, emotions cresting in waves of release. Climax built, not just physical but cathartic, purging the poison. Yours, I gasped, nails raking his back. Only, dawn brought resolve. Jacob's final gambit loomed, a confrontation he demanded via encrypted text, neutral ground. Tomorrow. Or the world sees all. We went. Armed with backups, lawyers on speed dial, and each other. The meet was set in a derelict warehouse off the Williamsburg Bridge, neutral ground. Jacob texted, his flair for drama undimmed. November 22nd, 2025. The date etched in my skull like a scar. Gray skies spitting sleet, the kind that numbs without cleansing. Ryan and I arrived early, hands clasped in the rental car, breaths fogging windows. Backups rolling, he murmured, phone propped on the dash, capturing every angle. I'd wired my jacket too, heart pounding a techno beat. No more victims. Jacob waited in the cavernous space, spotlit by a single hanging bulb, poetic, like he'd staged his own noir. Suit rumpled, eyes hollowed by the backlash. Jacob the Joker had cost him his job, his engagement. Fiancé bailed after the leaks, his polished facade. Gentlemen, he drawled, voice echoing off rusted beams. Come to gloat. Ryan stepped forward, steady as steel. Come to end it. Hand over the drives. All of them. Jacob laughed. Brittle. Or what? Your little indie flick? It won't stick. I'm the victim here. Coursed, gaslit by your repressed bullshit. And Alex, clingy rebound who filmed himself begging. Lies, layered thick. My fists clenched. You filmed us. Blackmailed. Ghosted. That's not love, that's control. His mask slipped, eyes flashing hurt beneath the venom. Love? You think I didn't try? With you, Alex, dorm nights, Pocono's promises, I saw a future. But you suffocated it, texting, where are you, till I choked. And he turned, voice softening to a plea. You left me in that motel, preaching camp bullshit. It's sin, you said, even as you fucked me. Broke my heart first. Ryan flinched, the old wound gaping. I was scared. 17. Fresh from hell. You knew that, used it. The recording, that was never love. Jacob paced, shadows twisting him monstrous. Maybe not. But neither was this. He hurled a duffel, hard drives, phones, relics of our ruins, clattering across concrete. Take it. Burn it. But know this, I win either way. You're bonded in my hate now, forever chasing my ghost. The air thickened, electric with unsaid. Ryan knelt for the bag, but Jacob lunged. Not for it, but him. A shove, then fists, wild, grief-fueled swings. You ruined me, Jacob roared, landing a glancing blow to Ryan's jaw. Blood welled, copper tang sharp. I tackled Jacob, adrenaline surging, wrestling him down, knee in his back as the hidden cam's word. Enough, Ryan yelled, pulling me off, but not before Jacob's elbow cracked my ribs, pain blooming white-hot. We staggered apart, panting in the dust. Jacob rose, wiping bloodied lip, eyes wild but clearing. See? Monsters. All of us. He backed toward the exit, voice dropping to a whisper. I loved you. Both. Wrongly. Sorry doesn't fix it, but it's there. Then he was gone, door slamming like final cut. Silence swallowed us, broken only by sleet tapping the roof. Ryan slumped against me, bag clutched like a talisman. It's over, was it? We drove home in stunned quiet, drives fed to a shredder that night. Flames in our sink devouring the past, sparks dancing like freed spirits. But the confrontation lingered, humanistic in its gray. Jacob wasn't cartoon evil, just a boy broken by the same machines that mangled us. Toxic masculinity, closeted cruelties, the American dream's queer underbelly. Recovery was nonlinear. Ryan's film premiered at Tribeca that spring, shadows packed houses, standing O's that healed a fraction. Critics hailed it a raw elegy for betrayed loves. Box office modest but impact seismic. Conversion camps defunded in 3 states. Daddy's empire cracking under boycotts. He reached out. Post-premiere. A letter, scrawled and shaky. Proud, son. Finally see the light, not mine, yours. Jacob? Vanished for real this time. Rumors of rehab in Sedona. A memoir ghosted under pseudonym. No more leaks. No taunts. Forgiveness? Not yet. But understanding bloomed. Tentative, we'd all been villains in someone's reel. Us. We thrived. Messy and magnificent. I landed a gig illustrating queer graphic novels. Ryan directing shorts that won Sundance nods. Our walk-up became home. Photos on walls, us at Coney Island. Windswept and laughing. A king bed squeezed in. Nights where love was verb, not noun. Tender thrusts, whispered vows. Bodies sinking like old lovers. 1 anniversary. Marking that shattered night, we stood on the fire escape, city lights winking below. Think he'd approve? Ryan asked, nodding to the stars, half joking about some cosmic Jacob. I pulled him close, lips brushing his. Doesn't matter. We're the story now. He smiled, true and bright. Ending happy? Human. I corrected, kissing him deep. And that's enough. In the end, betrayal forged us. Not despite the storm, but through it. 2 guys, 1 act, infinite secrets shared. America's grit in our veins. Love's drama our script. Fade to credits. Hearts intact.